forget,
What's that?
before I forget, Pam said if David's there, make sure you say hello and Happy New Year.
Oh, same to you.
I used to say it to her, because I wasn't going to say it to you.
Joel, I was just with your wife at an event.
Oh, that event.
That event
How did it go?
was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really beautiful.
Yes.
Suspect.
Thank you. Give it another day or two. Okay, welcome to the October 7th meeting of the Rybrook Zoning Board of Appeals. With us this evening, we have a full complement of the board. We also have Building Inspector Steve Hughes, Village Council Christian Gates, and he's going to be the regular here at the meetings in the future. And so I'd like to extend thanks to his predecessor, Bob Zitt, who helped us for several years. We also have with us Board of Trustees Liaison David Heiser, and bringing you the video from outer space is Fred Seifert. If you're going to be making a presentation today, please come forward, state your name, the nature of the name and address, and if you're an agent representing the client, your representation, give the nature of the variance, and we should be able to move through. We have two applications this evening, so I'm assuming everybody will be heard without a problem. First application is application ZBA 25-016, Fran Kalai and Forteza Kalai. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. 2 Beacon Lane, construct second-story addition, one-story addition,
need the
new front
easel?
portico, and interior alteration.
If that's, I think that's it.
Good evening. Good
Yes.
evening, gents.
I don't think the mic's on.
Is the microphone on?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
How's that?
There you go.
It's way too loud. Good evening, Michael Picarello, MAP Architects, representing my clients at 2 Beacon Lane. My clients had purchased this house approximately a year ago. And as you can see, I have photographs in the top row of the existing house. It is essentially from the road, it's a story and a half. On the rear side, it's 2 stories. Just over 2,000 square feet, and my clients want to move their family here, a growing family, and there's a desire to actually increase the size of the house. So we have some challenges. We have 2 non-conforming side yard setbacks. So we were careful to avoid developing the 2 side yards. I'll show you the site plan.
Mic is still not working. Okay. Some feedback.
So we were careful to not develop above the existing garage other than a roof, other than the other section on the side yard, which is close to the neighbor. So we avoided developing on top of that, and instead we developed the second floor of the main body of the house, as well as a small addition in the rear, so essentially to square off the house. So the design was to bring this house up to what I consider Westchester County standards, without over-designing it. So we were careful, again, to only design what we needed to for their growing family. So we're here tonight for a variance for floor area ratio, where we're proposing a house that is 3,500 square feet, where 3,018 square feet, I believe those are the numbers, are required. So again, looking at the design of the house and their needs, this is what we ended up with. There are several other homes in the area that are anywhere between 3,200 square feet and 4,000 square feet in size with similar lot sizes. So again, we are looking at it as an improvement to the lot, improvement to the neighborhood, because the existing house is in disrepair. And we think this will vastly improve not only their property, but in the entire surrounding neighborhood, bringing the house values up with theirs. So that's what we are proposing. And again, I think we were modest in trying to develop a house that the sizes of the rooms, the numbers of the rooms were all, within a Westchester standard for what we've done elsewhere in Rybrook and elsewhere in Westchester.
You implied that the existing house is not up to Westchester County standards. By implication, you said that you wanted to bring it to that. Are you implying that the bulk standards in Rybrook for this size lot is not up to Westchester County standards? Because each zone has bulk standards.
Correct.
And this house is in a zone that has a certain GFA, and the desire to increase it, goes against the philosophy of the bulk standard. So
Correct.
you gave an explanation of why you'd like to have that, but you also implied, that any house of this size is not up to Westchester County standards.
Well, again, it's looking at it from the perspective of my clients' needs to have their family move here and stay here for, say, 30 years, enjoy the school system, trying to get the house that they would like up to not only what we see as Westchester County standards, but obviously the standards that they're looking for to invest in the town to stay here for a long time. So for them to be here for a long time, they have to have a certain number of bedrooms and a certain size bedrooms. The existing house is substandard, in my opinion, substandard in the amount of money that they've already invested in purchasing the house and the investment.
In what way is it substandard?
The size of the rooms, the
And what
low
is the
ce-
problem?
Sorry?
Can you go into more detail?
Sure, absolutely. So the size of the rooms, the lack of number of bedrooms, the size of the bathrooms, the lack of number of bathrooms. They have the portion of the second floor are slope ceilings, and basically, in my opinion, are uninhabitable for a modern, normal size house that most of us enjoy. So in order to make this house more livable and more sustainable for them to be in, again, for 30 years, there's a necessity to make it bigger.
I don't know. I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure I agree with how you're saying it. I don't really like the word substandard. I think you're paying for what a house is worth in this market, even if it seems to be high or inflated more. You'd think you'd expect you'd get more. But I'm sure that what was paid for was fair market value at the time. So again, the house may not be what they want for the time, and the intention is to improve it. But I'm not sure I would use the word substandard to describe it. But it may just be semantics and just may be me.
Again, this is my opinion. So
When did the applicant purchase the house?
approximately January 30th, 2025.
Okay, so obviously, it was purchased with the intent of, blowing the doors off and expanding it.
Correct. Yes, and again, we went through several iterations and then kept reducing them down to basically what they could live with as far as the size of the house. So we started with a larger project, actually, and then kept reducing it and reducing it and reducing it.
Could you share that? Because one of the criteria that we use is this the smallest possible variance that will meet the needs of the applicant?
Correct.
So, where did you start? And see where you wound up, but where did you start?
So in putting together all the ingredients that this house would need to be to meet their standards, we had a larger house square footage, even a footprint. So we actually started with a house that was probably more like 3,900 square feet, and I was able to take off approximately 400 square feet of habitable space that also not only helped them with this process trying to get an approval, but it also helped actually with the impervious. So I was able to remove new impervious surfaces, which obviously all of us are all concerned about, to get it down to the bare bones of what they're looking for. And I know that part of the issue in this neighborhood is that there are no basements. It's just simply everything is on slabs. So one of the things that they won't ever get the benefit of, which not necessarily the neighborhood, but maybe someplace else in Rybrook, of having a basement. So when people have basements, that square footage doesn't count towards their FAR. So that's purely bonus space that people get, which essentially is free from FAR. Again, if they built this house, in a different town perhaps, or maybe in a different part of Rybrook where we have clients in Rybrook that have basements. That's free FAR, essentially. So this house doesn't afford that because they're on a slab, and we're not blowing the house apart completely, because we're trying to keep it, keep the existing slab and keep the existing content, essentially the foundation, so we don't have to destroy the entire house and take it down.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that movement, from the original design. Not every basement is countable to GFA, depending upon, the elevation
Correct.
above and below ground. So I don't want anyone viewing this thinks that there are people out there who are, working the system. Do any of you have any questions with respect to that? Okay, is there anyone in the audience who want to speak in favor of the application? Anyone want to speak against the application? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
So I want to make one quick comment. So my clients did actually have neighbors come out and discuss with us, and I came out and discussed with them what the project was, what it was going to be, and my clients heard that any concerns they may have had. So he's certainly willing to work with the neighbors to trying to work with the neighbors to try to make it an enjoyable, peaceful neighborhood. So just want to put that out there.
The 5 factors, going through them, would you consider the variance substantial?
Yes.
Yeah, self-created.
Yes.
Haven't heard anything about water issues. Steve, you aware of any water issues on Beacon?
No, nothing's come up. And again, they've stayed within the limitations of impervious, where they don't have to do a stormwater management system.
Yeah, but that raises the question, if I just might ask, how are you capturing the water from the new addition?
So right now we're at approximately 180 square feet of new impervious. So we've kept most of the new house on top of the existing house. So we've generated very little. We're generating very little new impervious surfaces. So again, we're going to follow whatever the building inspector tells us to do as far as how to capture that additional rainwater. So we're going to, we would provide whatever they would require.
Steve, is that Mike's purview or yours?
Well, it's mine in respect that it's below the 400 square feet. My calculation actually comes up to 275 square feet of additional impervious coverage with the portico, and in the back, land disturbance. But I guess the question is, how is the water being captured now? Is there any kind of, is it just the gutters and it's just going to ground, or is it any kind of drainage system there?
To my knowledge, everything is going to splash blocks and onto the grade. And as far as we can talk about the calculations, but I did remove part of the back, so in theory there's a little credit there. So maybe that's where our differences in numbers come from. But again, whatever you propose us to do with that stormwater, I'm sure my clients would have no problem. There's no water issues on the property as far as I know of, and in the area as far as I know of. But again, we'll do whatever's required by the town, by the village.
So Don, just to clarify, part of it's going to be with the construction. When they do the construction, it's going to be if there are going to be footing drains, and where's those gutters and leaves going to go, if there's going to be a dry well. So we'll lean toward making sure they have something there.
Okay, great, thank you.
That's fine.
What about the character issue? No problem with the character?
No, not
Okay.
at all.
Let me go ahead with the resolution. Whereas application has been made to the zoning board by Fran Kalai and Forteza Kalai, collectively the applicant for a variance in connection with the proposed second-story addition, one-story addition, new front portico, and interior alterations on property located at 2 Beacon Lane in the R10 zoning district on the northeast side of Beacon Lane, approximately 150 feet from the intersection of Wilton Road and Beacon Lane. Said premises being known and designated on the tax map of the Village of Rybrook as parcel ID 135.66-1-62, the property. Whereas the applicant seeks relief from the following requirement of the Rybrook zoning code. First, section 250-22, part E, the maximum allowable gross floor area is 3,015.18 square feet. The applicant's proposed addition will result in a gross floor area of 3,503 square feet, thereby requiring a variance of 487.82 square feet. Whereas a duly advertised public hearing opened on October 7th and continued till October 7th, at which time all those in attendance wishing to be heard were given such opportunity. Whereas the proposed action is a type 2 action pursuant to section 6 of the New York NYCRR, section 617.5, part 17 of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and accordingly no further environmental review is required. Whereas the board, from the application and record before it, after viewing the property and neighborhood concerned, hearing from the applicant, and upon considering each of the factors set forth in section 250-13, section G, part 2, items 2A through E of the Rybrook zoning code, finds, first, the requested variance will not create an adverse impact to the character of the neighborhood. Second, the benefits the applicant seeks cannot be achieved through another method feasible for the applicant to pursue that does not require the variance. 3, the requested variance is substantial. 4, the requested variance will not create any adverse impact to the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. And 5, the need for the variance is self-created. Okay. Also, all fees and et cetera should be paid before the situation will be resolved. Are we okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. Let me go ahead and vote. Yes? Then you'd have to go to the podium, please.
I don't think this is anything to stop or delay.
Yeah, but,
Wait till you get to the podium.
yeah. Also, it would have helped to have said that a couple of minutes
I
ago.
completely missed it. I wasn't sure if that was to come before or after.
Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
apologize. This
Right.
is my first. And again, nothing to delay. I'm speaking on behalf of my parents and myself at some days, who live at 9 Wilton Road, which is just east. I believe you must have met them at some point. Just have questions on how long the construction would last, and the fact that I think the plan would obstruct a good deal of our property's view of the sunset and maybe afternoon light. I know that this is legal, and this would definitely help. Your renovation will make the space much better for you and make the neighborhood look better, but we are worried that it would decrease our value, as a good deal of our backyard would be obstructed by the house.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Just as a point of information, as long as the applicant follows the bulk standards, this becomes one of those types of things that would be impossible to resolve if the variance went through. So it would be very hard to deny the variance because it obstructs the view. As a side note, in San Francisco, the value of your property is a function of what street it's on and how it projects to the bay. So literally, one side of the street gets more sun than the other, and as a result, the valuations on MLS change significantly.
But I think as long as we're not violating the
Exactly.
height standards and the setback standards, there's
Right.
nothing more that we can do.
But I do suggest, regarding your question as to how long the construction will take, et cetera, talk to him following the meeting.
Right. Okay,
Thank you.
very good. Okay, we're going to vote now. Steve?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Don, yes. Application is approved, 5 yeses, 0 nays. Congratulations. And once again, that comment about construction, have somebody run over with a nail puller after each day, because flat tires happen around construction sites.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Well, and welcome to Rybrook.
The next application is ZBA 25-018, Barbara Rios and Contract Vendee, 12 Paddock Road, construct one-story rear addition to master bedroom, one-story expansion at garage side, new front portico, new roof over rear patio, new roof lines, and legalized non-conforming deck.
Before you start, I have a quick question. I know the sale is pending. Is it in any way contingent upon the outcome of this?
Unfortunately, no. No, it's not contingent on this.
And I'm also just, for my own curiosity, why is this application being done now as opposed to after the sale?
Because
By the
winter's
new-
coming and the buyer wants to. John G. Scarlett Jr., architect for Barbara Rios. Barbara and her husband are buying the house. They actually live in the city of Rye. They're selling their larger home. They didn't want to leave the area. They wanted a one-floor house. And it's hard in Westchester to find a one-floor house.
I'm going to stop you right there for a second. I just have a side question. Is it permissible for the application to be brought by someone who's not currently the owner?
Yeah, we're doing a contract vendee.
Yeah.
And the
it-
contract
Okay,
allows
yeah.
us to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And
the question of whether the village rules allow you to do
Yes,
it.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I have a one-story house.
Right. So the reason behind this is it's a one-story house on a slab. So you have two slab homes tonight with no basements. So that was the driving force of this house was it's one floor, and the person that's lived in there has lived there for like 30 something years. So when the house came on the market, there was really no survey or an accurate one, and anyway, so we didn't pick up some of the issues of the house, like the deck and stuff, before they went into contract. So the few things that we want to fix on the house was the two-car garage is tight for two cars. So we wanted to add 3 feet to the right of the garage. One would have thought the garage was worked with its front yard setback, but it's like 3 feet in front of it. For some reason, the garage violates the 40-foot front yard setback. So we need a variance for the expanding the 3 feet to the right for the part of the front yard setback that it needs, which I'll go through the numbers after. And then the previous owner before these people added a master bedroom off the back of the house, and it overhangs the house to the right. That had a permit. What we want to do is we just want to make it like 6 feet bigger, because they kept the third bedroom to walk through as another room, so they kept the window. So they made it a little shorter because they wanted to keep the window in the room. But we want the room a little bigger, so we want to add the 6 feet to that side, which doesn't need a variance. The only issue is the house, because it's a ranch and everything's on one floor. The basic house is a little too big, and we're making it a little too big with adding the piece to the garage. What is there a way to?
Maybe the volume.
It's, is that better? Okay. So the two things we're adding to the that didn't help, did it? Okay. So the two things we're adding to the house is a 6 foot by like 14 onto the master bedroom towards the middle of the house, and the 3 foot by like 10 feet of the garage towards the middle of the house. We're adding a covered roof over the front door, and then we're adding a covered porch over the patio out the back. So that's what we're basically doing, and then we're redoing the house. We're doing all new siding, new roofing, new windows, basically gutting it, redoing it. And then the existing deck, I'm looking at Steve, the existing deck, which has been many phone calls, too many to mention, it had a variance for setback.
It was a swimming pool.
But it was a swimming pool. It was a swimming pool with a deck, or at least, you know, back 30 years ago when things were done, they weren't done quite as accurately. So, according to the building department file, it looks like it was a swimming pool with a deck around it, which they got a variance for the rear yard setback. And at that point, there was no deck coverage, or because it had it for the setback. And then over the years, the pool broke, or they decided to get rid of it, and then they just boxed in the whole deck. So the deck violates the rear yard setback, the side yard setback, and the amount of deck you can have on that size lot. So when we did file the variance, we didn't really know what was going on with the deck. So to get on this, to notice and to get on the meeting, we noticed everything the way it is. So the owner's plan is to probably do a new deck, not out as far, so we don't need a rear yard setback, and we don't need the area over the deck. We just need it to line up with the left side of the house, so we would need the side yard setback for a deck. So if we wanted to get rid of the area over the deck and the rear yard setback on the deck, we can cross those
How much of the existing deck are you cutting back?
about 12 feet.
12,
It would be 12 feet off of what's out there now.
Start
Yeah.
give us the dimensions
Why don't we pull this?
of the existing
Why
deck.
don't we pull the stuff up? Okay, let's start with photos, so you know what's actually out there. So let's look at the house, so you know what the house is.
I walk by it all the time.
Okay, so that's the front. This is the left side of the house. We're also gonna build a new roof over that flat roof. So that's the master bedroom addition that was done later, which did have a building permit. So it's a patio that leads into a deck that steps down into the backyard. So we're leaving the patio, we're just gonna redo it, and then we're gonna do a smaller deck. I think I have better pictures of the deck. I don't have better pictures of the deck.
What are the dimensions of the existing deck?
All right, so now let's go to the drawings.
I'll tell you now, John, I have a problem. When you remove a deck, right, that's non-conforming. And if I'm not mistaken, Steve, there's no permit, there was no closed CO on that deck?
Well, as noted earlier, there was a swimming pool. There was a floating deck around a swimming pool, and then when the swimming pool with the deck had a CO. So when the sale came about, they wanted to close out the swimming pool that had been removed, and I guess at that time they decided to just blow the deck out and expand the deck and attach it to the back of the house with the patio without a permit. So we were able to close the swimming pool permit out because the swimming pool is no longer there and that deck was no longer there. This is a new deck that was done at that time without the permit.
What about the patio?
The patio was existing patio there.
So, the deck, if you're gonna remove the deck, which is in a dilapidated condition.
Yes,
okay,
it'd be easier to remove it, yes.
I see no reason why you have to replace it with a non-conforming sized deck. Usually, when you remove at least 50% of it or something, we have a hard time approving anything that existing is in violation, when in fact the new thing will also be in violation. When you can just as easily put a deck in that is conforming on the rear yard and the side yard, and the need for it to go right to the end of the house appears to be an arbitrary decision.
Well, the reason we wanted to go to the edge of the house, because the house did get a side yard variance for the house, and if I pull it back to where it goes, the railing's gonna be in the middle of the window. Is why we really want the deck kind of running along the back of the house. We have no problem with not violating the side yard, but we have no problem doing a deck that, obviously, it's not gonna violate the rear yard setback, because it can't be big enough to get that far. So that's not a problem.
Right.
And the square footage of a deck isn't a problem, because the size deck we would do would meet code.
What would be the size of the deck you're proposing?
So the
With
deck
the
we're-
railing?
The deck we're proposing, oh, I have it.
'Cause you're an expert in size of porticos and decks, based on your past experience with this board. So you should have that.
Isn't one of the variances increasing the deck size from 4% to 7%?
Yes.
So I'm not sure I understand.
It's a very large deck.
No, but I'm not
The
sure I
reason-
understand.
The reason we put the deck in the zoning variance to start with is, we had deadlines to get on this meeting. We were negotiating what was going on with the deck, like, with credits and whatever else was going on, and who was gonna do what, and whether she's legalizing or not. So we had a whole issue in the contract as to how we were handling it. So, to public notice the meeting and to get on the meeting, we published it the worst it could be, keeping the deck, because at that point, we didn't really know what we were doing. Like,
So,
it
you-
wasn't
so you're
necessarily-
not asking for a variance on the deck?
So we can remove, so technically, we could remove the deck variance.
So the last listed on the notice.
So the rear yard setback, we would take off.
Well,
And
it
the
says about the
area-
deck coverage is 4%.
Right, and the coverage would
Yeah,
come off.
you don't need that.
Those two we don't need. The
So-
only thing I want for a deck is the side yard setback.
So-
I want it to line up with the edge of the house.
So on the application, it's an increase to 7% from, I mean, it would be 7%.
No,
But-
we'd have
but-
only
No,
the
no,
4%,
no, getting rid of
yeah.
that.
Right, no, but that's what's in there.
Right, he's saying we don't
Right,
need it.
right, okay.
We would delete
Okay.
the deck coverage, it would have to meet the 4%.
And the rear yard
And
setback.
it won't meet the rear yard, but it would align up with the existing nonconformity of the house.
And where's the 5-yard side setback coming
Right now,
from?
the family room is 5-point-something feet off the side yard.
Is that current, is there a current non-conforming, or is that?
Yeah, the family room was added and got a zoning variance for the side
Oh, I
yard.
see, okay.
So
Yeah, the house
That has a CO.
is
Gotcha.
pre-existing non-conforming.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay, but the deck, when removed.
Right.
Would not necessarily have to be non-conforming.
Except for the side yard.
So the
He's
fourth
asking for the
and
side
sixth
yard.
request on the notice of hearing, you do not need.
Right, and your second public notice, your second resolution is done that way, I believe.
With the complex wording. You've read that?
I did, I read them, yeah.
Okay, I'm happy for it. Now,
I did my homework.
so Christian, just as a point of information, if the existing resolution is approved, then they need to do no further paperwork before this board?
Yes, if the board adopts the resolution that does not include the requirements for the deck, there would not be anything else. You could just adopt that resolution. You would be approving the other variance for the front yard setback, the single side yard setback, the combined 2 side yard setback, and main building coverage.
Okay.
I mean, the only number that's really changing is the coverage of the building, because as far as all our setback numbers are all existing non-conforming. We're not getting worse in anything we're doing.
So the size of your proposed deck will be what? What by what?
The deck is gonna be the length of the house, which I believe is 38 feet, and I believe it's about 12 feet deep,
So it's 12 by 38.
basically.
Right.
What's going on with the shed? Because we see there's a
The
shed.
You just threw me the curveball, I have no idea.
Okay,
Like, I didn't
this-
know that was an issue. I guess
Yes.
it's gonna get taken down.
It would have to just, if you wanted to file a variance for it, but
But
just
can't
let you
do a
know.
variance for it 'cause we didn't notice for it.
Right.
And it's on the property line. I'm thinking they're just gonna have to remove it. Like, we'll have to deal with the dead shed another time. I'm assuming he's just gonna remove it and put one in the right place, right? That would make the most sense.
But I'm thinking if you say the railing is gonna go in the middle of the window. What is the window, 3 feet wide?
No, it's, of course I put a big long window there.
What I'm trying to do is eliminate the side yard for the deck. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, but the problem with the side yard is it's a 15-foot side yard setback, we're 5 feet from, so you're taking 10 feet off the deck. Like, it's not like we're talking 2 or 3 feet
From what exists now.
from what it is now, because the family was 5 point.
Are you gonna keep it one level, or are you gonna?
Oh, yeah, no, it's gonna be one flat level. Yeah, we're looking for a retirement house, and we're trying to make everything kind of one simple level and not many steps into the house. So that's why this house worked, because it's very low to the ground and everything's one level. And even going outside to the patio,
Right.
you're talking about like 4 inches.
I saw that. yeah.
That was kind of, that's what drove them to to buy this house, because the neighborhood was nice, and it was actually a house that could work. We had looked at so many houses where, like, getting in them, or even though they were one level, still you had a bunch of steps to get into them, and that sucked. So, that's kind of what sold this house. So, it's staying a one-level house. I don't think anybody in the future hopefully wouldn't go up on it. Or if they do, they're gonna be living on what they can do, because it's basically gonna be a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1-floor house.
Not a substandard one, I hope.
Sassy.
I wouldn't have gone there, but that's.
I
I would have started with the house had no basement.
Exactly.
We're gonna need something regarding the portico, right? So-
That's the front yard, right? Yeah, that's.
Well, that they can't bring the rest of the house.
Portico in this house is okay, it's the garage that's the problem.
Yeah.
The garage stays in front of the house, so the garage is what violates the.
Are you considering conditioning the 3 feet over the garage? I mean, I don't know if that's necessary.
I don't think so either.
Well, I mean, if anybody came in to do something else, they would have to. I mean, the whole front of the garage is a setback issue, so if anybody came back to do something, it would be a setback issue.
Okay. Any other questions? John, no? Anyone in the audience want to speak in favor of the application? Please come forward.
I would just like to speak. Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Thank you. By the way, beautiful plan. Thanks. My name is Michael Chiappini. I live at 10 Paddock Road. And my concern tonight was just to see what's going on. And with these setbacks, if I could ask you, so I'm the house to the left.
To
of
the
that garage.
microphone, please.
I don't even know if it's, hello? It's not even really working. So, to the left of that garage, what are you looking to do? You're not coming over to my property, are you?
No. The
'Cause I
garage,
think the plan looks great.
we're just
I think
repitching,
it'll be an improvement.
we're
to the
repitching
neighborhood.
the roof,
Yep,
but it's not coming above the ridge, which it doesn't now. And
Okay.
We're moving the garage 3 feet to the right, we're just making it bigger.
okay,
Just
so,
fit 2 cars.
so that's nothing to do with my side lot.
No.
Got my blessing.
And we didn't do a second floor to block all your light.
I just wanted to see what was happening here. that's all. And as far as the deck, that doesn't affect any of the neighbors. If they, this is just me speaking on behalf of the new buyer. That doesn't affect me, or that's your business, but I've got no problem with that.
Okay,
The deck variance is on his side, yeah.
anyone in the audience, spirit-wise, want to speak against the application? No. There was one letter, right, Steve,
Yeah, in favor.
that came in?
In favor.
In favor.
Oh, in favor.
In favor, okay, so let the record show that. Okay, motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay, I'm still with the problem of the size. In other words, why add to the non-conforming when you don't have to? But I can understand the other point of view.
Well,
John, do you have a slide or a page showing the deck to the relative to the house?
Like in this one?
Can't see it.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
just
the
trying to-
existing survey shows it pretty well.
Oh, okay.
While he's fishing it out, let me read to you the part of the resolution which will capture what,
Well, your concern was the size of the deck, right?
why let the non-conforming continue when it
Yeah,
doesn't have to?
Except that having a railing coming into the window.
No, we can move it in, away from the window. It's 38 feet wide. That's the size of my house.
Right.
That's a huge deck.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. If he had it and we could see it.
Well, I mean,
You're saying it could be 35 feet or
Right,
34.
right, I'm just trying
that's what
to,
we're proposing with the smaller. I mean, I just prefer it to run against the house, just.
Of course you would, John. Of course you would.
I mean, we're getting rid of a huge,
Yeah.
big nonconformity.
well. Would it, so, John, can you just point out,
Yeah, this doesn't.
you architects have like a certain,
Yeah, and surveyors have a
yeah,
certain.
yeah.
If See, I mean.
Assume it was,
John, is there any reason that it couldn't be a little bit narrower, not block the window, and resolve this issue?
See, I have a row of windows in the back. See, this is.
Okay.
Like, I was doing like a row of windows. So
Okay.
If I had to come in like 10 feet, I'm kinda like, like, my railing's gonna be in this, like, low window looking out at the yard.
And the proposal, or what you'd like, is for it to go to the end of the house.
Or at least within
I'm,
a
I'm,
couple
but,
of feet of the end of the
right,
house.
but to the right.
Well, I mean, technically, I'm gonna have to bring it in slightly anyway, because the property line's not straight. So I'm probably gonna have to bring it in to keep the 5 point whatever feet that corner is. I'm probably gonna have to still be in a foot anyway, which we're just gonna have to do to make it work.
And am I correct in what you're saying is if you did bring it in, it'd be in front of a
Yeah,
window
because
regardless?
The problem is the
Yeah,
side yard, it's
yeah.
not like a neighborhood where, like, this is an 8 foot side yard setback, it's a 15.
Yeah.
And the house is within 5 point,
Right, but you're not gonna be able to avoid a window if you brought it in.
or I'd have to probably do like 2 spread windows,
Big window.
Right.
you know, which is gonna kinda look stupid in the room. I mean, I'm also gonna say, this deck is on the ground. So it's not like we're 4 or 5 feet in the air. Like, we're at level, so we're not like peering over somebody's fence, and it's not, 'cause I would agree with you, if it was, you know, a story in the air or 5 or 6 feet in the air, it's kind of intrusive. But I mean, this is on the ground, pretty much lining up the patio, like, we're not raising it. We could put something in there that the deck has to be at ground level, because there should be no reason that the deck would be raised.
And
But I just feel like it should go to the edge of the house, just because I need a railing on it.
Chris,
I really don't wanna start splitting
if we
windows.
approve the deck, it's a variance for a deck, not variance for future building to that point, right?
And they also gave us a variant, they gave the last people the variance for the family room. With the same number, and I'm not looking for a better number than the family room, I'm just.
When was that?
That variance is in the folder.
Quite some time ago, right?
It's gotta be like 20-something years ago.
Yeah, right, so it's another different world.
89.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's even more than 20.
Different world, yeah.
I don't know, 2000 feels like it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 2020.
Getting old,
All right,
John.
Let me read this section here.
Yeah, I want, let's hear this.
Within 30 calendar days of the filing of this resolution, the applicant shall submit a bona fide and complete application to the building department for the removal of the deck or for the removal of a sufficient portion of said rear deck as is necessary to eliminate the former request to exceed the maximum allowable deck coverage and the rear yard setback caused by the rear deck. The applicant shall diligently pursue the removal of the deck and in any event cause the removal of the rear deck within 90 days of the filing of this resolution. Okay, now Steve, the impact of this is that they bring it in from the back, so the rear yard setback is gone. The deck coverage percentage is gone, and the only problem is the side yard setback, okay, of the deck. And you don't see any need to condition the deck going forward? Huh? I don't see how you can.
No, the only thing I was just asking Chris is to make sure it's not authorizing them to build over there, it's just for a deck, the variance. We're not improving.
And they can't cover it or?
Right.
Yeah, the roof area wouldn't be, right, yeah.
Yeah,
would
I
say-
just don't want
say
it, I don't want it,
It-
open-ended that they can now
It
build
would not.
that
It would
back.
only apply to what is before the zoning board today, and any of those types of modifications aren't under the zoning board's consideration, so it wouldn't apply. It would only apply to this, which is the deck.
Well, and if somebody wanted to roof, they'd have to come back anyway, because it would violate it, because
Right.
the roof portion is conforming.
Okay, all right, I think, guys won me over. Okay, the 5 factors, it will not impact the character of the neighborhood. Okay, the variance is substantial. Okay, and it's self-created. And the other factors will not create an adverse impact to the physical and or environmental, and is this the smallest possible variance?
No. I mean, that was your,
Put a railing in the window.
small as possible?
What I would suggest is you take the 3 windows out, you put 2 windows in, and you move it in conforming. That's what I would do. And I know that's a little extra work for your little computer there to put 2 windows in instead of 3, but that's what I would do. It's eminently doable, and everybody would be happy. But I stand corrected if I missed it.
Wow.
Hey,
That one's-
right?
Yep.
Okay, so let me read the resolution. Whereas application has been made to the zoning board by Barbara Rios, the contract vendee, and the applicant for a variance in connection with the proposed one-story rear addition to the master bedroom, one-story expansion at the garage side, new front portico, new roof over rear patio, new roof lines, and to legalize non-conforming deck. Legalize non-conforming
Well,
deck.
we take that out. We're not legalizing it.
That is addressed in the following whereas.
So I leave it in?
Leave it in.
Okay. That's why we need lawyers.
Yes, that's why.
On property located at 12 Paddock Road in the R15 zoning district on the west side of Paddock Road, approximately 50 feet from the intersection of Crossway and Paddock Road, said premises being known and designated on the tax map of the Village of Rybrook as parcel ID 135.26-1-42.1. Whereas on October 7th, the applicant revised their application to eliminate the proposed area variance in connection with the deck legalization, thereby eliminating the need to seek relief from the Rybrook zoning code, section 250-20, part G, item 1, rear yard setbacks, and section 250-37B, maximum allowable deck coverage. Whereas the applicant seeks relief from the following requirements of the Rybrook zoning code. The minimum front yard setback is 40 feet. The applicant's proposed one-story expansion of the garage will result in a front yard setback of 33.32 feet, thereby requiring an area variance of 6.68 feet. 2. Section 250-20, Part G, Item 2. The minimum required single side yard setback is 15 feet. The applicant's proposed additions, alterations will result in a single side yard setback of 5.13 feet, thereby requiring an area variance of 9.87 feet. 3. Section 250-20, Part G, Item 3. The minimum required combined two side yard setbacks is 40 feet. The applicant's proposed additions, alterations will result in a combined two side yard setback of 23.56 feet, thereby requiring an area variance of 16.44 feet. 4. Section 250-37, Part B. The maximum allowable main building coverage is 16%. The applicant's proposed additions, alterations will result in a main building coverage of 18.9%, thereby requiring a variance of 2.9%. Whereas the duly advertised public hearing was held on October 7th and concluded on October 7th, at which time all those in attendance wishing to be heard were given such opportunity. Whereas the proposed action is a type 2 action pursuant to 6 NYCR Section 617.5, Part 17 of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and accordingly no further environmental review is required. Whereas the board, from the application and record before it, after viewing the property and neighborhood concerned, hearing from the applicant, and upon considering each of the factors set forth at Section 250-13, Section G, Part 2, Items 2A through E of the Rybrook Code, finds. I went over the 5 factors. So the only one that I want clarification on would be the benefits the applicant seeks cannot be achieved through another method feasible for the applicant to pursue. That does not require. Can or cannot?
So I would go with can.
All right.
I mean, that's just me.
Comfortable with that?
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, it's can. Okay, now I'm not gonna read that
Condition
provisional
again.
clause again, okay? Second, all fees must be paid before activity is closed. Okay, see John is smiling over there, watching sausage being
You
made.
put my fee in there too?
What?
Joking.
His fee also.
Okay, here comes the vote. Steve?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Don? Okay, I'll say yes. And in that, you guys convinced me, and I think the condition is satisfactory. Congratulations,
Thank
John.
you very much.
Takes a lot to convince Don, John.
It does.
Yeah.
And take that word substandard and eliminate it from your vocabulary.
I don't
And what was
usually-
the other guy?
That's not usually my approach.
Okay. The last item is the appeals draft summary of previous month, September. Okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, approved. A motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
So the public hearing is closed. Thank you.
What do we have in November, Steve?
So far, there's one, in, for patio